To the public, Henley Royal Regatta is often seen as little more than an Edwardian garden party, but that belies the true quality of the event that began with a single day's racing in 1839, when the good citizens of the town saw an opportunity to profit from a host of informal rowing challenges, including the very first university boat race between Oxford and Cambridge. Today it's a 5-day extravaganza with a turnover of more than £1 million, but why is it that the world's top oarsmen, used to racing over 2,000 metres on still water, flock to Henley to take part in an upstream knockout competition over 1.25 miles?
And I think in particular I contrast Henley, where you're racing 2 abreast, with the international races. You're racing 6 abreast. 2 abreast is 1-on-1, and it means intense competition. You've got to think about your opponent and only your opponent, whereas 6-lane racing you're really more concerned with the 5 other crews, and you can't focus on one person. And that means that you're a lot more scared at the start, you're a lot more wound up before the race. And then when you add to that the huge crowds that you see at Henley, the atmosphere, the fact that it usually is the focus of most British oarsmen's season, then you've got a pressure cooker.
The other special thing about Henley is the atmosphere. There's so many people here to watch in all different enclosures right the way from the start to the finish. There's so much going on, and the atmosphere is electric, and it's really enjoyable to row at.
The most dramatic changes in the development of the regatta have come in the last 10 years under the chairmanship of Peter Coni. With top rowing nations like the Soviet Union, the United States and Australia now accounting for 1/5 of all entries, was it his intention to further increase the level of international participation?
I think it's very important if the regatta is to maintain its prestige and its importance to rowing as a whole. But we have gone to quite a lot of trouble to try to encourage really good overseas crews to come, and happily that's been very successful. So that most years, in at least some of the events, you've got a final which is likely to be between 2 crews which may be world medal class, of whom one hopes one will be a British crew.
What of the future of the 21st century?
You know my view. I would like to see events for women in the regatta. I wouldn't want to see the regatta extending to 6 days in order to accommodate them. But if the special race for schools goes because the exam dates have moved back so that the schools can all enter the Princess Elizabeth, there'll be a large gap in the Saturday racing programme, and I reckon that there will be room for maybe 4 events for women. And I think that the standard of women's rowing in this country has improved so much over the last 5 or 6 years that one's getting to a stage where one needn't worry that there won't be a decent standard entry to fill those events.
So good news for women's rowing. This year the regatta stewards expect the normal entry of over 300 to double for this 150th anniversary event.